Human history is divided into 4 eras: prehistoric, ancient, medieval, and modern era. Prehistoric era. This era spans from the emergence of humans up until the invention of writing systems. It's characterized by the use of stone tools, the development of agriculture, and the domestication of animals. Prehistoric era is further divided into Stone Age and Metal Age. Stone Age consists of Paleolithic, or Old Stone Age, Mesolithic, or Middle Stone Age, and Neolithic, or New Stone Age. While Metal Age consists of Copper, Bronze, and Iron Age. Ancient era includes the rise and fall of ancient civilizations, such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, Rome, China, and India. It's marked by significant advancements in agriculture, writing, governance, philosophy, and trade. Ancient era is subdivided into classical, axial, and post-classical periods. The classical age refers to the peak periods of ancient Greek and Roman civilizations, characterized by significant achievements in art, literature, philosophy, politics, and warfare. This period, particularly in the 5th and 4th centuries BCE, witnessed the flourishing of Greek city-states, including Athens and Sparta. It was marked by cultural and military achievements such as the works of playwrights like Sophocles, Euripides, and Aeschylus, the philosophy of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and conquests of Alexander the Great. The Roman Republic, established in 509 BCE, saw the rise of Rome as a dominant power in the Mediterranean. It was followed by the Roman Empire, which began with the reign of Augustus Caesar in 27 BCE. The Roman Empire expanded its influence across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Key periods include the Roman Republic, the Pax Romana, Roman peace, and the decline of the Western Roman Empire. Axial Age. Coined by Carl Jaspers, the Axial Age refers to a period roughly between 800 and 200 BCE, when several major religious and philosophical traditions emerged independently around the world. This period saw the teachings of influential figures such as Confucius and Laozi in China, Buddha in India, Zoroaster in Persia, and the prophets of Israel. These developments laid the foundations for many of the world's major religious and philosophical traditions. Post-classical antiquity refers to the period following the decline of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century CE, often extending to the fall of Constantinople in 1453 CE. It is the time period that immediately followed ancient history. After the fall of Rome, Europe entered a period of transition characterized by political fragmentation, the rise of Christianity, and the influence of Germanic tribes. The major classical civilizations that the era follows are Han China, ending in 220, the Western Roman Empire in 476, the Gupta Empire in the 550s, and the Sasanian Empire in 651. Medieval and post-classical periods share much of their historical context. Medieval, also known as the Middle Ages, spans from the 5th to the 15th century CE. It is divided into 3 distinct phases: early, high, and late Middle Ages. The early Middle Ages, sometimes controversially referred to as the Dark Ages, is typically regarded by historians as lasting from the late 5th to the 10th century. Early Middle Ages in Europe were characterized by the decline of the Western Roman Empire, the migration period of various Germanic tribes such as the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Vandals, Franks, and Anglo-Saxons, the spread of Christianity, and the emergence of feudalism. A cultural revival in the 8th and 9th centuries, led by Charlemagne and his successors and Vikings expansions. Eastern Europe saw the rise of Byzantine Empire, Orthodox Christianity, and Khanate of Old Great Bulgaria. In the Middle East, Islam's influence expanded significantly under the Rashidun, Umayyad, and Abbasid caliphates. These caliphates extended their borders to encompass South and Central Asia in the east, as well as Spain and Portugal in the west. The Islamic caliphates experienced significant cultural and scientific advancements. In East Asia, this period saw the rise and fall of various empires and dynasties. For example, the Sui and Tang dynasties in China facilitated the reunification of the country and the expansion of trade along the Silk Road. In East and West Africa, kingdoms such as the Ghana Empire and the Kingdom of Aksum flourished during this period, engaging in trade with other regions and adopting Christianity or Islam. In the Americas, civilizations like the Maya, Moche, and Teotihuacan continued to develop complex societies with advanced architecture, agriculture, and trade networks. In Europe, translation of Greek writings into Latin, study of liberal arts, and advancements in medicine, astronomy, and mathematics, establishment of monastic schools and University of Constantinople, Islam's scientific knowledge began to reach Western Europe. The works of Euclid and Archimedes, lost in the West, were translated from Arabic to Latin in Spain. The modern Hindu-Arabic numeral system, including a notation for 0, were developed by Hindu mathematicians in the 5th and 6th centuries. High Middle Ages extended from the 11th to the 13th century CE. For Europe, this was the era of Gothic architecture, Crusades, and beginning of Renaissance. Key geostrategic developments were the Christian conquest of Toledo, unification of Scandinavia under Christianity, Norman conquests of England, rise of Kingdom of Sicily and Kingdom of Hungary, and Mongol invasion in Eastern Europe. After the decline of the early Islamic caliphates, the region remained politically fragmented. Various powers competed for territory and influence, such as Byzantine Empire in Anatolia, Seljuk Sultanate, which dominated much of Persia and surrounding areas, Fatimid Caliphate, replaced by Ayyubid dynasty in North Africa and the Levant, Song dynasty in China, Shogunate in Japan, Khmer Empire in Cambodia, and Ghaznavids in Afghanistan flourished during this era. India was characterized by several powerful regional kingdoms like the Cholas in the south and the Rajputs in the north. Major turning point in the High Middle Ages in Asia was the explosive rise of the Mongols in the 13th century. Genghis Khan and his successors created a vast empire that reshaped Eurasia. In Africa, there was decline Ghana and rise of Mali Empire and Great Zimbabwe. In America, this was the flourishing era of Aztec and Maya and the beginning of Inca Empire. In Northern Europe, the Hanseatic League, a federation of free cities to advance trade by sea, was founded in the 12th century. Marco Polo became one of the first Europeans to travel the Silk Road to China. Southeast Asian kingdoms like Srivijaya played a pivotal role in trade between India and China. The period saw major technological advances, including the adoption or invention of windmills, watermills, printing, gunpowder, the astrolabe, glasses, scissors of the modern shape, a better clock, and greatly improved ships. Baghdad's House of Wisdom translated ancient Greek and Roman knowledge into Arabic. Thinkers like Ibn Sina, Avicenna, and Ibn Rushd, Averroes, had lasting influence. The first universities started operating in Bologna, Oxford, Paris, Salamanca, Cambridge, and Medina. Late Middle Ages is extended from 14th to 15th century, preceded the onset of the early modern period. Around 1350, centuries of prosperity and growth in Europe came to a halt. A series of famines and plagues, including the Great Famine and the Black Death, reduced the population. France and England experienced serious peasant uprisings, such as the Jacquerie and the Peasants' Revolt and the 100 Years' War. The Grand Duchy of Moscow began to repel the Mongols. The Iberian kingdoms completed the Reconquista. The Balkans and Constantinople fell under the dominance of the Ottoman Empire. Bohemia and Kingdom of Hungary experienced Golden Age, end of paganism in Europe, establishment of Papal State, discovery of America and sea route to India, and beginning of Renaissance. In Asia, the late Middle Ages witnessed the decline of the Mongol Empire and the rise of the Ming dynasty in China, Delhi Sultanate in India, and Ottoman Empire in the Middle East and Eastern Europe. In West Africa, the late Middle Ages saw the rise of the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire, and the Kanem-Bornu Empire. The modern era is the period of human history that succeeds the Middle Ages. It's often subdivided into early, late, and contemporary periods. Early modern periods lasted from 14th to 17th century. Early modern periods witnessed Renaissance, Age of Exploration, Reformation, and Enlightenment. Renaissance, which laid the groundwork for many subsequent developments in science and art. Age of Exploration. European exploration and colonization expanded rapidly during this time. Reformation. A religious movement that resulted in the split of Western Christianity into Catholic and Protestant branches, and Enlightenment, characterized by the rise of reason, science, and philosophical inquiry. Late modern periods lasted from 18th to 20th century, by the end of World War II. Late modern periods witnessed Industrial Revolution, Age of Revolutions, Imperialism and Colonialism, and World Wars. Industrial Revolution in 18th and 19th centuries led to rapid industrialization, technological advancement, and urbanization which transformed economies and societies. Age of Revolutions, including the American Revolution, French Revolution, and various nationalist movements, imperialism and colonialism. European powers expanded their empires through colonization and imperialism. World Wars. The two World Wars, World War I and World War II, and the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. Contemporary period refers to the period following the end of World War II in 1945 and continuing to the present. Contemporary period saw Cold War era, post-war reconstruction and globalization. Cold War era, characterized by ideological competition, military tensions, and proxy wars between the United States and the Soviet Union, with the world divided into two blocks, post-war reconstruction and decolonization. After World War II, efforts were made to rebuild war-torn societies. Many former colonies gained independence. Globalization, increased interconnectedness among nations, facilitated by advancements in digital technology, internet communication, and transportation, leading to profound changes in communication, commerce, and social interaction. Here is the quick recap. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing.